Great news, we've proved the funds to purchase the RV park, but we have no idea how much it's going to cost us to get this place fixed up. So as we research more and more what needs to be done, we can't help but ask ourselves, was buying an RV park a brilliant business move, or did we just buy a money pit?
Welcome back to the RV Odd Couple. My name is John.
And I'm Mercedes, and long story short, we sold most of our possessions in pursuit of freedom, independence, and adventure.
Because life is so short, you guys, and I'll tell you what, the last month has been just a complete whirlwind.
It's been a roller coaster.
We're in the middle of Alabama. We're having an absolute blast. We're finding beautiful, magical places as we drive down these paths and wander around this beautiful, absolutely beautiful property.
But it's been hard too.
It's been hard. So it's been ups and downs, right? As we, try to secure the funding, as we try to do everything that's involved with trying to get this thing up and running. We've actually had some time, now that we're in our due diligence, to start digging in and looking at what are the actual costs going to be to fix this place up and get the doors open. And every day we're learning more and more. The park itself has a lot of charm, it has a lot of space, but we don't know how much labor is in Alabama. There's a shortage of labor everywhere in the country.
And lumber and supplies.
Everything is costs a fortune. I just went down to Lowe's and purchased 125 feet of 6'2" wire, right? Because I was running 50 amp to 3 sites. Cost me $770, you guys, just for the wire, 125 feet. And the conduit to run that wire in. So prices are super high. So Mercedes being the way she is, we've got spreadsheets and we're kind of just picking away, trying to figure out what this park will actually cost to open.
So we promise to keep you guys in the loop and tell you what's going on, because we're living this real time together.
Yeah.
And so here's the reality that we're faced with. The nature, the creeks, the rocks, they are immensely beautiful.
It's magical.
You just saw a bald eagle. It's like
bald eagle, a coyote this morning.
Absolutely amazing. But the existing infrastructure is old and it really needs to be replaced. I mean, when we said we wanted a 1970s campground, you should be really careful what you ask for.
Right. And we were told this place had closed down 3 years ago. Come to find out, we just found out this morning by the owner, this place has been shut down for 9 years, you guys.
Oh, that changes things.
And so just firing things up, putting pressure in the water pipes, old circuits. Right now they've got 15 sites that are on 30 amp and those circuits are old, so we're replacing some of that.
And figuring out the cost to upgrade to 50 amp, but making sure it doesn't cause us to lose sight.
Yeah, there's these beautiful little cozy cabins at the end of this circle. It's gorgeous, but they're old. It smells a little musty in there.
A lot musty.
Some of the roofs leak, right? So yeah. I'm just going through, being that I was a contractor, I've been plugging in numbers, trying to figure out exactly what it's going to cost to open this store and start inviting the RV Odd Squad in.
Here's the rub. Do we start fresh or do we remodel what's existing? That's ultimately what it comes down to. And frankly, there are some buildings, I say burn them down.
Just rip them down and start all over.
Like that pump house picture that you saw, that pump house has to go. But then there's other places that are so amazing and we don't want to take away the charm. Another huge challenge that we've been up against is we got a Yankee and a city girl going to the south.
Don't call me a Yankee.
So we're going to change the name of the channel.
I'm not a Yankee.
Okay. Yankee
so
and city
boy and city girl try to survive in the south is what's been going on. Everywhere we go, somebody's asking, where you from?
Yeah.
They never ask her where she's from,
No.
but it's always, as soon as I open my mouth, where you from? They know I'm not from around these parts.
Yeah. So guys, as we show you around, please give us your opinion in the comments. Do you think we should tear certain structures down? Do you have any ideas? Any tips would be really appreciated, because we might be a little in over our heads.
All right, guys, so we are at the main house, Thunder Canyon Drive. And this we actually are considering turning into an office.
Yes.
And so we're going to bring you inside, take a look around. It's kind of messy. We got a lot of work ahead of us, but we wanted to kind of give you guys a feel of what it's really like here. On here, it's absolutely, I think it's charming.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It wouldn't be that hard to clean it up.
No.
We need to go in
But
there.
then this is really cool too.
Yeah.
My turn.
This is an old cottage-style home built on just beams, guys. That's all it is.
Check out
got
this fireplace.
Full kitchen. We got a beautiful fireplace.
This is the kitchen.
Where's the kitchen?
Right there.
Okay. And so you guys can see they're still in the process of cleaning up and cleaning out.
Yeah.
But we're actually thinking that this could be kind of a sitting room up in this area right here, or a store.
This could serve multiple purposes. Registration, it could be a mini store. It would also be a great place for like the rec hall, rec room, a lounge type thing. So this building, we could either rent it with multiple bedrooms or we could use it for like business functions.
Yeah, we think this is going to be the office and registration area right here, and then we've got a whole nother room over here.
That's the thing, it's so many bedrooms.
There's 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms, there's more than that.
And it also has a master shower with double sinks, and it has a single bathroom as well.
And the kitchen is really charming.
Yeah.
It is really
Kinda
charming.
nice. Yeah. Again, we got some work to do, guys.
So one of the things we're also looking into is a whole lot of road work. You see, RVs are so much bigger today than they used to be when this place was open. So this turnaround here presents quite a problem for big rigs such as ourselves with our 40-foot fifth wheel. John actually drove the fifth wheel through it, and it was great because he simultaneously was able to clear some of the brush around, although that was not intentional. So you can see how this turn is going to be really tricky for those bigger rigs. And so we need to have turnarounds for big rigs, which is probably not going to be here. We're probably going to have to figure out where we put that somewhere else.
Yeah, I made it around this, but I
you're
had to
good.
go. I had to go really wide on the bottom side, guys,
Yeah.
to get through that tree right over Mercedes' head right there, where Sage is running around.
And you're really good though. We have to make this user friendly for newbies.
We have to
you
make
know?
it, yeah, user friendly for everybody.
Yep.
And so what I had to do is I actually had to drive out on the grass down low here, as close to that tree as I possibly could. I actually had to brush some of that away with my nose cone to be able to sneak through these 2 trees that are coming up over here where Sage is. So I could do it. It can be done, but we need to widen the road right here. It needs to be widened out so that when they come around this turn, you can see this stuff starting to fall apart
Oh yeah.
right here. This is your trick.
Yeah.
You don't want to pick off that tree. We can always cut that tree out. And check this out, guys. There's an old bubbler,
Drinking fountain.
a drinking fountain, or I call, where I grew up, it was called a bubbler.
Yeah, but if you call it a bubbler, they'll all know you're not from the South.
All right, guys, so we're going to walk down to what the church is around here called the Fellowship Hall,
Yeah.
which is over here on the left.
It's a really nice kitchen with a really nice dining area. There are some problems though that we'll show you, but the equipment inside is restaurant grade.
We need to take.
So it's really,
We need to do this.
we could do a lot with this.
Here, guys, is the dining hall, and right inside there, it's absolutely beautiful. It seats up to 70. It's got booths, it's got chairs. We love the deck, but as you can see, this
It's not
was not,
straight.
it wasn't built to code.
Yeah.
And everything is not straight. We've just got cinder blocks holding up the entire structure. You can see where it started to bend down inside. You can see right there underneath that where it starts to bend, they go ahead and they do some type of a support to hold it up. So we're considering pulling this building apart, redoing it. We love the way it looks.
Yeah.
We love the country style of it.
Well, and the mayor told me that there's not a location that's big enough for big groups to kind of meet. So if we had this place fully operational and everything the way it's supposed to be, then churches could come in afterwards and they could have bigger gatherings here.
Well, and we could also have retreat and other events could come in if we made enough room for everybody.
Exactly.
So this is one of the coolest features we think that's in here. And this is Mr. Blevins' house from 1930. This was where he lived. We love the structure.
Yeah.
He was a blacksmith.
Yeah, we don't know anything about Mr. Blevin, but his house seems pretty neat.
Right. But guys, if you actually go inside and see how it was constructed, a small tropical storm could blow this thing apart. Although I say that, this thing is still standing.
There you go.
You know, but we want to save it. We think it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
You can still see his pits back there where he used to burn his steel.
Yeah.
You know, heat his steel and take care of local horses. And make tools for the locals.
This would not be a place that people would be renting out, obviously, but it'd be cool to look at, kind of like a ghost town feel.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool,
yeah,
too.
and then we've got one deep well right there that still has a pump. They used to use that well right there, guys, to fill the pool, which is across. We're gonna bring you over there.
Oh, that's a big town thing, the pool.
Yeah, everybody in this town that's under 60 years old will tell you that they came to this park to swim in the summer times, and that the pool was always freezing cold because they used that old well right there to fill it. So if you guys look behind us, you can see all these several little cottages. There's 2-bedroom, there's 3 bedrooms.
That's the bathhouse?
There's the bathhouse right there, and there's 3 showers for both men and women, and there's 3 toilets. It is a cinder block building. The roof is not too great, so I mean, I actually think we can save that building and get it open quickly so we can bring some tenters in, maybe some boondockers. And as I twirl around, you'll see another structure right there. That structure is a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath cottage. I mean, they're charming, but they've just been setting for many, many years.
I don't know if you can see this one out there. It got a cool ramp, so that one could be ADA compliant, which would be pretty cool. And then that one over there, all the way over there, that one's pretty big too.
That's
So
a
they're all
3-bedroom.
different sizes. Some can sleep 6 and some probably sleep 2. There's some that are really big for like big events.
Before this was anything else, this was a Boy Scout camp. And this building right behind me here is where the Boy Scouts built a building. It was the first building on this site. And you guys can see it right here. It's absolutely amazing. And inside the door is all these bunks. There's 16 little cubicle bunks. This thing blew me away because I had no idea that this was here. I really had no idea.
Talk about a god shot.
Yeah, it was a god shot for me, and it was a big deal. And now we're going to take you guys down to the pool, which most of the locals that grew up around here, they remember it. Be careful, kids. So I don't know if you guys can see the scale of this, but this pool is absolutely huge. From this corner here all the way over to that corner is probably a good 40 feet. And then we've got a good 65 foot length. And believe it or not, it's 12 feet deep. There used to be a diving board here.
Yeah, which we probably would not keep the diving board. Not because anybody could get hurt, but more because my husband, I could see.
We're keeping the diving board. Whatever's not allowed in most houses are going here.
Whatever. If you look deeper, look at that area over there, how nice that is for sitting. And look up this hill, how easy it would be to just, throw down some towels and just chillax there by the pool. This area is actually quite big. The camera doesn't quite capture it.
So we're down by the pool area. This used to be all the pool pumps in here, but I saw that electricity and I wanted to point out to you guys, one of the challenging things about this park is that the electricity was done 40, 50 years ago, and there's a lot of problems with it. Right now, the main electrical coming into the park is 7,500 amps. We're expecting that we're probably going to want to bring in new transformers and probably go up to 15,000 for 100 sites. That's what we're guessing right now. But as you can see, a lot of this stuff is messy, and we need to get electricians out here. We need to get plumbers out here. And we've already started making those calls. It's just hard to get these guys to come out.
We're trying to connect with the community, right? And one of the neighbors told us the best way to meet people in this community is at church. She's like, yeah, there's this Baptist church you got to go to. It's awesome. So we're thinking like, okay, we'll look for the Baptist church.
The population in Eider is actually 719 people. So how many Baptist churches can there be?
There's like 7
There's
of them.
7 churches in Eider, Alabama.
So then I had to clarify which Baptist church. And then she's like, service starts at 11.
Yep.
Everyone gets there around 10:30. So John and I are thinking that we're going to be casually cool and arrive there at like, what, 10:45?
Right.
Turns out they started at 10.
So we actually walked in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the service. Most of the people here
Looks
know,
at us, yeah.
They know who we are. They know what's going on in the town. It's a small town. We've talked to the mayor. They posted us on their Facebook page, right? Everybody's been really beautiful and nice here, but we were embarrassed that we were late.
No, it gets worse though. Okay, so after church, all 15 minutes of it, which was an amazing 15 minutes
Well,
of
and
it,
speaking
right?
of amazing, we caught the last 10 him. We didn't catch any of the what the minister had said, right?
No
any of the
clue
service.
what the sermon was.
But they did play Amazing Grace, which always makes Mercedes and I tear up.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
So, but it gets worse, okay, people, because as we're walking out, I'm talking to a very kind man, and I was like, hey, is there a good place to have brunch? I'm hungry. And he just looks at me and he's like, we don't do that in these parts. And I'm thinking that's really strange, because who doesn't love pancakes, right? I love pancakes, especially on Sundays, but he said it kind of in a weird way. So I'm talking to the neighbor and letting her know that church now starts at 10, not at 11. And I'm telling her, like, what's up with brunch? Why don't people do brunch here? And she looks at me and she's like, he thought you were talking about day drinking. So not only did we show up late to church, but they think that the first thing I wanted was booze. And I looked at John and said, our attendance record is wrecked.
Quite frank, when we first got here, it was complete utter chaos. It was too many people here. We were overwhelmed. Sage was tired. She wasn't cooperating. So after about 3 days, we asked everybody to disappear, and Mercedes and I had a chance to just kind of sit here quietly, right, and get quiet and start really looking at the place and clearing our thoughts. We had raced across the country in 5 days, and then when we get here, there's 8 people waiting for us. So it was nice to be able to take some time, and one of the first things that popped out in my head, and I'll never forget this shot, guys, it was just us. We were in the park, the sun was going down, dusk, and Sage is running in these beautiful green luscious fields chasing these lightning bugs all over the place. I actually started to choke up from it.
It was pretty cool.
It was so beautiful just watching her do that. And a quick thing about Sage, she absolutely loves it here. She loves exploring. Skippy's got his own little pond that we bring him down to. About every other day we'll bring Skippy down to the pond. He loves it here. This place is really magical, and we can't wait for you to come and visit.
You should change your name to laughter. You bring joy to every room. All the voices vanish after hearing such a lovely tune. In a world that's so imperfect, every word in the sings new.
Greenbow, Alabama. I got my feather. Took that from the Jeep. Mommy, you ready?